Pupils at coastal schools are back in class, but the issue of school infrastructure remains a challenge. In the Eastern Cape, for example, the Provincial Education Department there had suspended almost all building projects because there is not enough money to complete them. Joining me now to discuss this is the Eastern Cape Education spokesperson, Vuyiseka Mboxela, who speaks to us from Eqonga. Ms. Mboxela, thank you very much for your time. Let's start with the learners in the Eastern Cape, those that presented themselves to schools. Were you able to accommodate every learner who turned up when it came to returning to school?
Thank you very much, Oli, and good morning to the viewers of Newzroom Afrika. Oli, as you might be understanding, that we have had a hailstorm which started sometime last year in December, towards the end of the month, and came even to this year. We've got 3 schools in the province that couldn't go back to class in the same building that they were used to. It's a school that is, it's 2 schools that are in OR Tambo Coastal, as Misele Junior Secondary School and Zwangana Senior Junior Secondary School. Those 2 schools are now housed in a local church because of the damage in the school. And also the other school is Koleni Senior Primary School in Alfred Nzo. Those are the 3 schools that, in terms of our own report that comes from districts, are the schools that could not go back to class in the same buildings that which they were in the previous years.
Yeah.
And I can say that the hailstorm has affected in the province in 95 schools, and that 95 schools totals to 132 classes.
Sure. And therefore, are you able to say without doubt that pupils, though, despite these challenges, pupils are in class receiving the education they need?
Definitely, they are in class, and it therefore means that we, in these affected schools, which are 95, will be intense in terms of rotational classes. And I can also say that there is also an oversight that is taking place, which will last up until Tuesday next week, which is being done by the Portfolio Committee of Education. And it then made an indication that there are a lot of areas that relate to the hailstorm that needs to be attended. But however, classes are continuing in most of our schools.
Yeah. As I stated in the intro, when we were beginning this conversation, Ms. Mboxela, I told the viewer that your department has suspended almost all building projects because there is not enough money to complete them. Where's the money gone?
Only the suspension of a project. It is not to say that they're not going to be finished, but it is to say you've got 95 schools now that needs urgent attention. You were building schools in different communities that are not having kids inside for the time being. Then it promised that you needed to relocate money from those schools that you were building so that you can be able to respond to this 95 that urgently needs to be attended to, because there are learners inside that needs to be covered. But however, I did mention sometime last year that there are different projects that are taking place in the province. And the reason why I'm saying that they're different is because they're different in terms of their own building process. Let me make an example. You've got a school that is called Bisho High. That Bisho High is under construction. But as it is under construction, there's a teaching and learning that is taking place in the very same school, because you find that in all of these schools, it's just a portion that is being refurbished, or it's just a block that is being extended based on the number that would have grown over a period of time. Now, when we're saying that we're suspending, we're just saying that suspend this money which was meant for last year and up until this year, April, and then continue with the building process. When you get another money from Treasurer, which will be after April, the money that we should be using now is to give attention to these 95 schools, because you have 132 classes that needs urgent attention, because there are learners and those schools, they are the ones that have got a bigger number of learners. So it's not just to suspend and say there's no money. Suspend them, take that money, relocate it, attend to the 95 schools, and make sure that when you talk of the next financial year, you then go back to the plan that you have had of finishing the schools that were being built.
All right, so it's clear then you are redirecting the money in order to go to the emergency need right now, which is to repair these 95 schools. However, Ms. Mboxela, you are the same province that is awarding contracts to people who clearly are not delivering on what it is that you have given them money to do. Are you the same province that is chasing after someone who has not provided furniture for a particular school? How much money was that you are chasing after now?
I can make a recollection that you are speaking of one particular contractor, which is a money that is close to, I think it's 1.6 million, if I'm not mistaken. But however, in terms of delivery, Tony, I would perhaps disagree with you, because you would have seen the MEC last year. He had opened 26 schools, which means we can't really throw out the kid with the water on the basis that there is one person that decides to defraud government. And the fact that there's a consequence management of taking that person to the state apparatus, it therefore means that we're a government that is serious about the public purse. And I can tell you that even now, as we're going to be going back to school, the MEC will again be handing over different schools in the province. Now, we do understand that this person should have not been given that money, and hence, therefore, the department, through the instruction of the MEC, took it to the Hawks, and then said that there's this act that I'm not appreciating about the public purse, and therefore there must be an investigation. Hence, therefore, were the ones that came in the public and said this is what happened in the department, and this is the consequence management that we've taken.
Ms. Mboxela, so you are chasing after this money, 1.6 million, and in your own words, you say this person, this contractor, should not have been given this contract. So on the one hand, you're chasing after him through law enforcement, the Hawks. What about consequences for the officials who gave this money to this person who was undeserving in the first place?
Already, there is a suspension of those, precautionary suspension of those officials that were involved, because it was not going to be possible to send a person to Hawks and then the one that initiated the whole process continues as if nothing happened. So there is that consequence management that is taking place internally in the department, and also there is that work that is being done by Hawks.
All right, that's the spokesperson of the Education Department in the Eastern Cape, Vuyiseka Mboxela. Thank you very much for your time.